All right, let's talk about something absolutely wild. It's this little glitch, you could say, deep inside your own mind, your brain. Well, it often can't tell the difference between what's really happening and what you're just imagining. Seriously. And if you learn how to use this, it's like unlocking a superpower.
Okay, so to really get this, we're not going to start with a bunch of boring theory. Nope. We're going to start with an actual experience. So just play along with me for a second, all right?
So if you can, go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to imagine you're holding a fresh, bright yellow lemon in your hand. Really feel its weight, that cool, waxy texture of the rind. Now bring it up to your nose and take a deep breath in. Smell that sharp, citrusy scent. Okay, now picture yourself slicing it open and taking a big bite right into that super sour, juicy pulp.
Okay, you can open your eyes now. So, let me ask you, did your mouth start to water, maybe just a little bit?
If it did, and I'm betting it did for a lot of you, you just proved the entire point of what we're talking about today. Think about it. There was no lemon. It was all in your head. But your body, your physical body, reacted as if it were real. You just felt firsthand how your brain responds to a vivid thought in the exact same way it responds to reality.
So what in the world is going on here? How does that little trick work? Well, let's pull back the curtain and break down how your brain actually builds what you call reality. And trust me, it's probably not what you think. You know, we have this idea that our eyes and ears are like a camera, just passively recording everything that's out there. But that's not really how it works. The science tells us something way more interesting. Your brain is an active prediction machine. It's constantly making its best guess about what all those electrical signals coming from your senses actually mean.
So this means that what you experience as reality, it's not a perfect high-definition recording. It's more like a reconstruction. It's a best guess that your brain cooks up by mixing what your senses are telling it right now with a whole bunch of other ingredients. Your memories, what you expect to happen, and yeah, your imagination to fill in all the blanks. And this is where it gets really crazy. Brain scans? They show us that when you imagine doing something, you activate many of the exact same parts of your brain as when you're actually doing it. So, imagining yourself running? That lights up your motor cortex. Thinking about something scary? Your amygdala, the fear center, kicks into gear. The bottom line is, for your brain, a really vivid thought is an experience, period. All right, so don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some of the fascinating proof that's coming out of the lab. Because this isn't just some philosophical idea. It's something scientists can see and measure. Okay, get this. They've done studies on mental practice, right? They take athletes, and one group practices physically, while the other group only imagines practicing. And the results are just incredible. The mental practice group showed real improvement. Their brains showed measurable growth in the right areas. They even had slight muscle gains without moving an inch. Just by thinking about it, their brains were rewiring and strengthening the exact pathways needed for the sport.
And maybe the clearest, most powerful example of all is something we've all heard about, the placebo effect. I mean, it is the ultimate proof that the mind can create a physical reality based on nothing more than belief.
Think about how it works. It's so simple, but it's also so profound. You take a sugar pill, but you believe it's real medicine. Just that belief, that expectation, is enough to trigger your brain to release its own very real pain-killing chemicals. And what happens? Your symptoms actually get better. Your body isn't responding to the pill, it's responding to what you told it the pill was going to do. So, this incredible power we have, this ability for our minds to literally shape our reality, it's a real double-edged sword. It can be our greatest asset, or it can be our own worst enemy. You have to remember what the brain's #1 job is. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's not about being happy or even being accurate. It's about survival. That's it. It will always prioritize being safe over being right. It would much rather think there's a predator in the bushes and be wrong than think there isn't one and, get eaten. Now, here's the catch in our modern world. That ancient, survival-focused part of your brain. It's kind of dumb. It can't tell the difference between a literal tiger in the bushes and a stressful email from your boss, or a looming deadline, or worrying about the future. It treats all these modern, often imagined stressors as life-or-death physical threats, and it hits the panic button, flooding your system with stress hormones like cortisol.
So you can really see the two faces of imagination here. On one hand, if you just let it run wild, it can become a weapon against yourself. It's the engine of chronic anxiety, phobias, and all sorts of self-sabotage. But if you learn to direct it, To harness it, it becomes this incredible tool for healing, for building confidence, even for physical recovery. And the science behind how this is even possible is a concept called neuroplasticity. It's a game changer. It basically means your brain isn't a fixed, static thing. It's like clay. It physically changes and rewires itself based on what you do over and over again. And, here's the key part, that includes the experiences you have over and over again inside your own head.
Okay, so all of this brings us to a really powerful conclusion, right? If our brain is constantly learning and changing based on experience, both real and imagined, then that means we can consciously choose what to feed it. We can become the architects of our own experience. We can actually take the controls. It really all comes down to this one simple but absolutely massive idea. You live in the world your brain creates. You don't see the world as it is, you see it as you are.
And what that means is, whatever you are repeatedly imagining, day in and day out, whether it's success or failure, calm or chaos, you are actively training your brain. You are literally building the neural highways that become your automatic default reality. So in the end, it really is that simple. Your brain believes what you show it. It takes its cues from you. So the only question left, really, is what are you going to show it today? Are you going to show it that successful presentation even before it happens? Are you going to show it the feeling of crossing that finish line? Because whatever you choose to repeatedly show your brain, well, that's what you're teaching it to create as your reality.